Give me a minute. I want to respond to Wright's comment here. You're making Ukraine to think that they can manage fighting Russia, yet it is impossible. So everything about that statement is wrong. It's not right. It's wrong. It is not me convincing the Ukrainians that they can fight Russia. It was I who was convinced by the Ukrainians in that first 3 months I came here to volunteer that not only could they fight Russia, but that they would beat them. It was the Ukrainians who convinced me. Now, as far as the rest of this goes, look at, you see that up there? That's the last week. That's the last week of the Ukrainians hitting, with HIMARS, mostly apparently, fuel depots and ammunition dumps in the last week. In the last week, right? Like, sure, the Russians are pushing forward. They captured Mariinka. Ooh, only took 23 months and a cost of just, you can't even talk about the cost because it's so obscene. So they got Mariinka, big fucking deal. It's a pile of rocks and bodies. And the Ukrainians, their number one rule, preserve the lives of our people. They withdrew, as well they should. Anyway, look at that map up there. How you gonna fight a war with no fuel for your tanks? How you gonna fight a war with no ammunition for your guns? Yesterday, you see that symbol up there in the left-hand corner? That's the symbol of the Atesh group. They're, and I hope I'm saying that right, because I don't want to be on their bad side. They're a partisan group down in Crimea and actually operating throughout the occupied territories, that every day risks their life to get good intelligence to the Ukrainian armed forces. Purportedly, it was the Atesh group that let the Ukrainians know that the landing ship Cherkassk was loaded with glide bombs and Fab 500 bombs and Shahed drones and at least 2 caliber cruise missiles. Those were the guys that got that intel to the Ukrainian armed forces and told them where exactly that ship was. They're the same people that got the information on the railroad shipment of new vehicles through Jankoy, where you see Jankoy is all lit up there with an explosion. They're the same people that got the information to the Ukrainian armed forces about the train coming into Tokmak, loaded with ammunition and fuel. Boom, 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 boom. Can't fight the Russians. Can't fight the Russians? They send drones into Moscow anytime they want. They destroy ships, 20% of the Black Sea Fleet in the last 4 months at will. Can't fight the Russians. Are you kidding? Are you paying attention at all? Russian ground forces have been eviscerated. And that continues. Foolishly, it continues. Russia itself is being demilitarized. All the air defense systems from along the Finnish border, gone. Every scrap of weaponry in Kaliningrad, gone. The Armenian base, stripped bare, gone. The air defense systems in the Kuril Islands, stripped bare, gone. Can't fight the Russians. It's the Russians that can't fight. It's just that there's a lot of them, and they have a lot of equipment. And so it is going to take a lot of Ukrainians and a little bit of time to finish them off. But make no mistake, Russia's done. And I'm not talking about the Putin puppets, the 3 clones that are pretending to be Putin. I'm not talking about the current administration in the Kremlin or the Moscovites. I'm talking about Russia. Anything that once resembled Russia is gone in the next 36 months. So all you cowards in Russia that want to save your own asses and flee to the West, it's time to flee. Because the Ukrainians are coming for you. Make no mistake. This thing doesn't stop when the army is out of Ukraine. It doesn't just stop because it's inconvenient for you. No. Ukraine's future security is going to be secured. Oh yeah, it is. Make no mistake. Can't fight the Russians. It's pathetic. It's pathetic.